Hello again, friends. Welcome back to the Bible Project Daily Podcast. And we're working together through the entire Bible. And we're up to Genesis chapter 20, which is part 158 of season 2, where we began the journey through the book of Genesis, chapter by chapter, verse by verse. But if you're really new to this, or you've just dropped in here for the first time, why not consider joining us on this complete journey and go right back to the beginning of episode 1 and follow us as we work through, Lord willing, the whole Bible, chapter by chapter, verse by verse, every day over how many years it actually takes, Lord willing. Quick reminder that a full transcript of each and every one of these talks is always available in the episode notes of any audio version of the podcast, which is hosted on the Buzzsprout website. But if you're watching this in the video format, maybe on Facebook or YouTube, there's always a link there through to the audio version where you'll find the transcript. But we're picking up today in the story of Abraham and his wife Sarah, and this difficult situation that's arisen with Abimelech, where Abraham once again has pretended that Sarah is his sister, not his wife, and have called today's short little talk, God Will Always Protect His Promises. And I've drawn attention to the fact, really, that we arrive here today finding Abraham having done what he's done, which to me shows that he was capable of committing a sin and repeating it over and over again, well, just like you and I, perhaps. But what he did before in lying about his wife and saying he was his sister way back in chapter 12, he's doing again here today in chapter 20. And this produces a really serious problem. And that problem is particularly brought to focus if we think about what God had promised to do with and through Abraham and his wife Sarah. So if God is in this situation, which of course he is, once again, he's going to need to intervene, and that's exactly what he does. And that's how we'll find out, and we'll pick up the story in verse 3, which tells us this. But God came to Abimelech in a dream one night and said to him, "You are as good as dead because of the woman you have taken. She is a married woman." Now Abimelech had not gone near her, so he said, "Lord, will you destroy an innocent nation? Did he not say to me, 'She is my sister'? And didn't she also say, 'He is my brother'? I have done this with a clear conscience and with clean hands." Excuse me. What happens at this point is God intervenes, and he intervenes by appearing in a dream to Abimelech. The point is, he's saying that Abimelech's response in that dream, he's saying, look, he has not come near her. And in other words, let's not beat about the bush. He's saying, I've not had sexual relationships with her yet. And he says, look, Lord, also, I didn't even know about this situation. As a matter of fact, he goes on in verse 5 to say, Abraham said to me that she was his sister, and even she said that he was his brother. Therefore, I am innocent of this charge. In other words, I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know I was doing anything wrong, and I haven't even touched her yet. Now, in legal terms, he's saying I'm innocent because I didn't have prior knowledge. And surely you don't want to sentence me to death, to give me the death penalty for that, or the effects on my nation and family. So he's pleading ignorance. But that's worth considering at the moment and asking the question, is it true that you are innocent if you're ignorant? One example might be if you're driving down a road where the speed limit's 50, and you're doing 60 and a policeman pulls you over, can you say, I didn't know that was the speed limit, and the policeman say, that's fine, I'm not going to give you a ticket? You can't say that, I didn't know what the law was. The legal position in the UK law has always been ignorance of the law is not an excuse, but motive does come into it. So while what Abimelech is saying is true, it doesn't make any difference in relation to whether the law had been broken if he had actually got round to sleeping with her. He would have then committed a sin. He would have broken the law of God at that point, even if he didn't know it. It's interesting, isn't it? Let's see what it says when the story continues in verse 6. Then God said to him in a dream, "Yes, I know you did this with a clear conscience, and so I have kept you from sinning against me. That is why I did not let you touch her. Now return the man's wife to him, for he is a prophet, and he will pray for you, and you will live. But if you return to her, you may be sure that you and all who belong to you will die." So God says, "Look, Abimelech, it was I who prevented you from touching her." Now, later in this passage, there are indications that Abimelech got sick that night. And as a matter of fact, it suggests that a whole bunch of people around him also got physically sick. So many Bible experts suggest, and I think rightly so, that God prevented the situation being carried further simply by making Abimelech unwell. Now, why did God get involved in all this? What was his motivation? Is he doing all of this to try and protect this one woman, Sarah's reputation? Now, I'm sure that's a factor in the background, but within the context of the book of Genesis, that's not the point that's being made here. God is not protecting one woman's reputation. God is protecting his promise. He had said, "Abraham, you are going to have a son through this woman." And so in spite of everything, in spite of the nonsense we saw last time when he lied about her position as wife, in spite of the nonsense with the slave woman Hagar, God still says, "The promise I made was that you, Abraham, will have a son through Sarah, through which a nation will arise, through which the whole world will be blessed." And that promises, that the benefits of that promise carry right down to you and to I today. So what he's doing, thanks be to God, he's protecting his promise, the promise he made him and the promise he has made you and I. And that's why he came and spoke to Abimelech in a dream. Well, we'll find out how everybody responds to this situation and how it all works out the next time we get together. So I hope I'll see you back here again very soon on the Bible Project Daily Podcast. But that's it for today. Bye-bye for now.